Hi all. In my video on crystal children I was talking about pride, and I had defined pride as being a holographic exoskeleton, and that's essentially what I believe it is. I mean, I think that the person who has the pride sees this image, of an exoskeleton, and they think it's real, and they think it's what's holding them up, and they forget that they have an internal structure that is what is holding them up. I mean, this is just an image. It's literally just an image, and but in order to keep this image, that they think, you know, if this imaginary exoskeleton disappears, that they're going to be gone. I mean, they're just going to turn to mush. They need other people in their environment to react to this exoskeleton as if it's a real person. And so what is this exoskeleton? Well, it's who they appear to be for public consumption. It's a fake persona, and this fake persona gets created when, I believe, in childhood, when the person is getting negative feedback from their environment. They feel like there must be something wrong with them, that they have to change something about themselves. You know, they assess the environment, what type of a person would be adequate for this environment, because everyone wants to feel adequate. I mean, that's what confidence is. It's the feeling of adequacy. And if they don't feel adequate in their environment, they try to think of what would be adequate in the environment, and they create this person who isn't them at all, but this person is more compatible for the environment, so they start acting like someone they're not, essentially. And usually the first trait that this type of person has is that they're very tough. You know, that they have a thick skin. But it's not so much they have a thick skin as that they're thick, because there's no they're completely unable to feel the pain of others. You know, if someone's in pain, you should be able to feel their pain. I mean, it should be like your own pain. I mean, for them to be in pain hurts you. To see someone else in pain hurts you. So that you want to stop it. But if you're unaware of the pain of others, if you can't perceive the pain, you're going to go around hurting others without even knowing it. And that's why I say, I don't think someone who is a quote-unquote cool person would be doing the cool things that they're doing if they were aware of the pain they were causing. But when you're numb to the suffering of others, I mean, you know, what's stopping you? You know, it's like a video game. I mean, no one exists. You know, everyone's just an object. And pain is the only one who's capable of feeling. And this is why I say they don't actually have a thick skin, because they're very sensitive. These type of people are, you know, they've spent so much time developing this alter, quote-unquote, tough ego, that they feel like there's like this. They're tough for public consumption. So I mean, they haven't actually developed themselves to be substantial in themselves enough to not be swayed by what other people think of them. And that's what a confident person is. A confident person is someone who knows they're adequate. You know, nothing can, you know, they have unshakable faith in themselves. I talked about that in another video. A person with unshakable faith in themselves doesn't care what other people think about them. I mean, but you cannot become a substantial person in yourself enough to have faith in yourself if you're totally focused on, you know, not your own development, not your own substantiation, but the development and substantiation of this fake person who doesn't exist. So these types of people usually, I mean, the tiniest thing will just set them off. I mean, they have no ability whatsoever to. They're very childish. They'll break down over nothing. You know, they'll be taking a baseball bat to everyone else, and then if someone, you know, if they stub their toe, then it's the end of the world. at least from what I've seen. So now this other person is very difficult to be, because it's not, I mean, you can play this person, whoever they are, whatever their definition is. You know, that this fake person has a definition, and that definition constantly has to be reasserted by the environment. You know, people have to constantly be reassuring this being, this fake being, that they fit this definition. And that's and they, you know, they assure them when they meet these expectations that they've set up, that, you know, are the definitions of the adequacy, and then other people give them feedback that they're adequate, and or that they're adequate for their position, their role that they're playing. But the easiest thing to be is yourself. I mean, it's so difficult to try to be this other person. It's a full-time job, you know. So it's like, I mean, you can play this role, but I mean, who's gonna have an easier time at fixing a car? A computer programmer or an auto mechanic? You know, I mean, it's pretty commonsensical that it's so much easier to be who you are, and who you were originally, not who you are as an effect of the world, but who you were originally is a beautiful and valuable asset to the world. The puzzle piece you were originally fit perfectly into the universal puzzle. So if people can just rediscover that person, you know, let the pride hologram fade into nothingness, and then find who they really are. And I mean, you know, go to the costume closet, try on as many costumes as you want to, and the actuality of it is, I mean, as long as you're playing whatever role it is, whatever costume you're wearing, as long as you're playing that role, I don't care if the job title is a cop, a doctor, a homeless person, as long as you're playing, as long as you're doing the job that is your title, that's all that matters. And you can trade in this title anytime you want and become, you know, another, until you've found your true self. Now, in terms of you know, there is one job title that you can't just trade in, and that's a parent. You're always a parent, and that's a parent. You know, as long as your child exists, you're a parent. And people think of, you know, oh, that's you know, this lifelong. I mean, there are parents who don't like that. They don't like that idea. But your job as a parent is simply to provide a safe haven to your children whenever they need it. And you know, if you did that originally, then they're not going to need it, you know, later in life, or they'll need it very little. I mean, it's just that place that the child can go back into, that greenhouse they can go back into and recover. That's all that being a parent is. It's very simple. But I mean, I could, you know, I'm not going to really get into that. But back to the case in point. You know, go to the costume closet, try on as many costumes as you want, you know. And you don't have to commit to any of them, but once you find the one that fits, you should wear it as if it were your shadow.